Hello, sweet beings. Welcome to the World Tapping Circle. I'm your host, Sonya Sophia, and this is Team Love. Valiant, loving, creative, smart, wise, intelligent, tapping professionals here at your service to show you what tapping looks like and may feel like, helping guide you through the intense, loving, and intimate experience of helping you process fears and insecurities and questions you may have about how to move yourself forward in your life. So it's not so much that we're answering questions, it's more that you are answering your own questions by giving yourself space to process your thoughts and feelings. So welcome, sweet friend. We're really happy that you've joined us. A big shout out to the people who are new to the circle. Every week we have people signing up from all over the world to try this out, so we welcome you. I'm glad that your curiosity brought you here. And a big shout out and thank you to those who've been with us for months and some of you who've been with us for years. We are in the celebration week of our 2-year anniversary. And I've said this last week, and I'll tell you again, that we have decided to reduce the rates, the membership rates to the World Tapping Circle so that it reflects our original offering of 2 years ago, back to our internal intuitive guidance around what that place of financial ease for you and make it work for this giant thing that we're doing. And want you to know that we've dropped it from 36 a month to 27. So that should make things easier for you. So having said that, I'm going to just check the chat here and see who's showing up. So Teresa from Reno, hello. Hello, Ian. I know that you are also in, I think, Reno. Caitlin from Austin, from the sidewalk outside of the Lincoln Library in Springfield, Illinois, feeling dedicated to this healing work. Wow, logging in from the sidewalk on her phone, I would guess. Jeremy, welcome. I think you're in Cali. Rob in Berkeley. Celestine Martin, bonsoir de Montreal, Quebec. She's in Quebec. Ian, let's see, I said hi to you. Hi to Somerset. Hi, Angela. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Aaron and Anthony and Angela and Surya. Mateo, welcome. And Elle, hello, everybody. Really glad you're here. Mateo in Ohio. So we've got 2 Mateos that come regularly to the circle. Cash Miracle from Santa Cruz. Happy to see all of you. So the theme tonight is being in my body. So this may seem like a simple theme, and maybe a lot of people feel like they've got this down. This is probably the most challenging subject for me. I brought my box of tissue just in case. So we'll see how it goes on my side. I may be tapping and bawling, but that's nothing new for the circle, right? So that brings up a lot for people. I've done tapping sessions with people who've had near-death experiences, meaning that they've died and come back, and they're just fully resistant to being here because it was so awesome not to have their body for a minute, and it was so blissful, and they're back in the material world. Others who suffer for various reasons about being embodied in the flesh. That could be a weight issue, it could be chronic pain, it could be gender identification, it could be simply I don't like the way I look or I don't fit the model stereotype. There's so many different ways that society has come up with to help us feel less secure about how we look and our basic embodiment. You know, sometimes I go into like fist shaking resistance to having to eat and having to sleep and Those of you who know me well have heard me kind of rail against like how many hours a day it takes to maintain this little horse. It needs sleep and it needs eating and that's a lot of work just to keep your little motor going. But wherever your stuck places around being incarnate, this is the circle to tap it out. How could you apply this to different issues? That is going to be something you get to decide. It could be how much money it takes to keep yourself housed, right? You could be working on the loneliness and wanting love and sexuality and connection because the body wants those things. So see if you can use this point of departure, but also tweak it to reflect what you specifically need in your own life right now. Okay? I try to keep these subjects open-ended enough, but also specific enough that you have a point of departure. Because there's a lot of ways we can go with tapping, and we want to give you a point of departure. So welcome Tatiana, welcome Rhea. Really happy that you're here. So I'm just going to take us straight into the core causes. So you know the drill. We're going to have 5 minutes of silence. For those of you who haven't been here before, what's going to happen next is I'm going to turn off my microphone and my camera, so we'll team love. On the screen, you will see the core causes questions. You will also see a button appear. If you scroll down, if you're on a mobile device, you'll see a button pop up that says Get Started, a big orange button. Click it, and you'll be able to take a live survey with us, a Google survey. It's anonymous, and it helps you understand yourself better and helps me see what's in the room for us to tap with. That process takes about 5 minutes, and we'll look at the results and then we'll start our tapping. So thank you, Team Love. Go ahead and switch off your mics and your cameras, and we'll see you all in 5 minutes. Again, the theme is being in the body. Okay, everyone, let's finish those surveys and go ahead and hit submit. And Team Love, go ahead and turn your cameras back on. So at this stage, you've probably stirred the pot quite a bit, trying to ask yourself and Google the information from within. What you're really doing is you're stimulating neural networks that contain the memories and the sensations and the experiences that would be sitting there waiting to be triggered by an outside stimulus. When you hear a certain song, you see a certain person, you smell a certain smell, somebody says a certain thing, or you're in a certain situation that causes you to re-experience this information. So, for example, it's suddenly bikini season and you're like, you're fine until it's time to put on a bathing suit. Or you're fine until someone comments about your body and either approves of it or disapproves of it, and then suddenly all of this stuff comes back. So what we're doing is kind of preemptively triggering ourselves by asking ourselves how we're feeling and what happened and when do we remember this becoming an issue and how's it been affecting us physically and emotionally and psychologically, and we're going to process that stuff so when those situations come up, you no longer have a automatic reflex to feel overwhelmed, insecure, ugly, whatever, okay, victimized. So you're actually processing this stuff hopefully prior to being triggered, or perhaps you've recently been triggered and you're going to catch up with yourself and then head off any future triggers by processing this stuff out of your nervous system. Okay, so Surya, let's see the results of the survey. And while he's pulling those up, I want you all just to start tapping your chest and breathing, because you're starting to process just by acknowledging that we're going here and relaxing towards whatever sensation you have coming up emotionally or physically right now, including feeling drowsy, the urge to run out of the room, the desire to fidget or feeling distracted, just accepting those sensations as we go. You can tap on the chest, or you can tap on any of the points that you already know as I'm looking at these results, okay? All right, so let's do one more quick refresh, Surya, just in case, because we always get some late responses coming in. All right, we got that last response. I'm so pleased. Thank you. Looks like a lot of people are choosing to work on health and body, taking that suggestion. Great. Everybody else is doing their own thing. Not a problem. Name your issue. People working on facing dad's Alzheimer's, resistance and frustration to cook and get healthy food, limiting my own power, no income, money, feeling comfortable with sexual intimacy showing up, sleeping and being strong, health and healing, exploring the possibility of not doing what I know I was born to do for a living, tend to numb body and emotions, resistance of giving up comfort food, etc., etc. Okay, what are the negative feelings associated with your issues? Fear clocking 65.5%. Feeling angry, 51%, anxiety, 51%, worry at 41%, overwhelm at 55%, exhaustion at 48%, sadness at 55%, hurt at 37%, stuck at 65%, frustrated at 72%. That's one of the highest percentages I've seen. I'm just going to write that down. Okay. Resentful, 48%. So you see what's happening here. We're sharing a lot of the same feelings, okay? And since this is kind of a plug and play, fill in the blank session, you're going to be able to process a lot of these emotions. All right, let's keep going. What negative self-talk do you have about this issue? In other words, what do you hear yourself telling yourself again and again? I'm not good enough, 48%. That usually takes the cake. I have it at the top because that's something that almost everybody tells themselves, weirdly enough, about almost every issue. 48%, I should have ... by now. I'm just kind of picking out some of the hottest spots here. Let's see, 27%, my needs don't matter. 27%, it's not fair. 24%, I'm permanently damaged. 20%, something I haven't listed. 24%, I'm stuck forever. A lot of people wanting to give up and feeling like I can't do it and I'm not going to be a success. Okay, big deep breath. What does your culture say about this? We should do everything for our family, get a job, money doesn't grow on trees, shame on you, be a man, show up. You can't make a living from that. Okay to deal with feelings alone, but don't show them in public. Healers should represent the highest, in shape, eating healthy, clear, and happy. Who should be grateful? He loves you. Dentists are painful and expensive. Wow, we've got such a broad range of topics going on in this circle. Okay. If your issue had a color, what would that be? A lot of people saying dark. A lot of people saying red. Darkness can represent something that's been there a long time and is really zapping your energy. Redness can represent anger and overwhelm, anxiety, and inflammation. Okay, when did this issue first start? 23% say, hey, it's been here my whole life. Others are clocking it in at different periods in their lives. A lot of people in their teens and early 20s. Who do you hold responsible or blame for your issue? 37% say, I blame myself. 24% say, I blame my mother. 10% my dad. 10% both parents. And it kind of goes down from there. Okay? Who in your family models similar attitudes and feelings? 39% say, all the people that raised me. Others are saying, mom at 35%. Where do you feel this in your body? My entire body, 17% say. Okay, different people. And in the body, you can see that that's going to be reflected chakrically. For example, the heart may be impinging on your ability to feel love. The solar plexus or the adrenals may be impinging on your ability to feel personally powerful, like you have a choice or you have freedom. Stomach, maybe this is hard to stomach. I have digestive issues. It may be affecting your ability to take in nourishment. Okay? Or to process the nourishment that's there for you. If your issue had a texture, what would that be? What would that feel like? 19% saying it's thick, 15% saying tight, 23% saying it's heavy, 15% saying it's sharp and jagged. Okay, and 11% saying this feels inflamed. What benefit do you think you are receiving by holding on to this issue? And this is where you bust yourself. Okay, why am I holding on to this? Wow, A, I can't believe I just realized I am holding on to this, and B, I'm actually doing this on some subconscious level when I check in to protect myself from what? And this is where you get the quick release button. If you can clean up this actual strategy that you've implemented, not that you're bad or stupid or wrong, but some part of you thought it would be really smart to like shut down and contract here and hold on to these ideas and these feelings because it was going to keep some bad thing from happening to you. Let's reevaluate and see if that strategy is actually working. It might be. You can keep doing what you've been doing, and you might actually be creating the very outcome you're trying to avoid. Let's look at that. Rate the intensity of your issue on a scale from 1 to 10. 1 is the least and 10 is the most. Everyone's saying it's above a 6, with most people in the 8, 9, 10 range. Okay, let's tap it out. So we're going to begin this session by massaging the front of the chest, pressing around the front of the chest until you find a sore spot, and big deep breath. Big sigh. Tuning into the issue that you want to focus on tonight, or today, for those of you in replay land. Okay, repeating after me, remembering that you can modify the words that I'm using to better fit your own subject. Here we go. Even though I have this issue, and when I say this issue, you say what your issue is, remembering that we can't hear you. We can feel you, but we can't hear you, and you have total privacy. Let's try it again. Even though I have this issue, I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tap the eyebrows. This issue. Say your issue again. Tap the temples. This issue about. And tap the front of the cheeks. This issue about. Say it again. Tapping under the nose. I don't want to deal with this. Shout it to the camera. I don't want to deal with this. I don't. I don't. Tap under the lips. I don't want to deal with this. Okay? You and me both. Tap the front of the chest. I love and accept myself. You may not actually feel like you love and accept yourself right now, so modify that and say, I'm kind of open to loving and accepting myself, maybe. Okay? We're going to tap the front of the ribs. I'm going to lean back to show you where that point is. Front of the rib cage, bottom of the ribs, right here where your ribs jut out the most in front. I don't want to deal with this. Tap the side of the ribs. I feel too overwhelmed. Tap the inside of the wrist. I feel too overwhelmed about this. Tap the side of the thumb. There's so much anxiety about this issue. Big, noisy breath. Oh yeah, there's anxiety and overwhelm. Tap the index finger. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tap the middle finger, even if I feel overwhelmed or anxious about this issue. And remembering that you can modify this. You might not feel overwhelmed and anxious. You might feel like sad and alone. So you can modify it and say sad and alone when I say overwhelmed and anxious. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. Even though I feel, say how you feel about this issue. Little finger, I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tap the side of the hand. Part of me feels, say it again. Tap the top of the head and breathe. This feeling of, say it again. Sides of the head and back of the head, this feeling of, say it. Tap the eyebrows. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tap the temples, even if part of me doesn't even want to deal with this. Tap the cheeks. Why do I have to deal with this? Can you make it a little more complainy than that even? Say it 3 times in your most annoying, complainy, whiny, upset, gravelly voice. You can even like glare your eyes out. Tap under the nose. Last time with gusto. Let's hear it. Why do I have to deal with this? Tap under the lips. I accept that I have a lot of resistance about this topic. Tap the chest. I'm open to loving and accepting myself, even if part of me feels stuck, terrified, and resistant. Tap the front of the ribs. Part of me has decided I can't succeed here. Tap the side of the ribs. Part of me has decided what? What negative limiting thought have you decided was probably true about you and your situation? Tap the inside of your wrist. I decided, say it again. Side of the thumb. I decided. Tap your index finger. I'm open to loving and respecting myself, even if I decided this a long time ago. Big noisy breath. Tap the middle finger. Let's look at that decision, that internal feeling of no, or I can't, or I won't. This negative thought that you realize that you are having. I've been telling myself what? Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I've been telling myself tap the little finger. Say that same thought again. I've been telling myself tap the side of the hand. Even though I've been telling myself, say your thought again. For me, it's too much work. Tap the top of the head. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Sides of the head, back of the head. Even if I've been telling myself again and again, what? And eyebrows. I keep telling myself, say it again. I keep telling myself, tap the front of the cheeks. Even if I secretly believe that's true, tap into the nose. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. And tap under the lips. Part of me secretly believes, say your negative thought one more time. Tap the chest. I love and forgive myself. Where did I pick that thought up? I picked that thought up from where or when or who? First thought. I picked that thought up from my mom, actually. Where'd you pick it up from? Getting a lot of burps out of me tonight. Tap the front of the ribs. I picked this thought up from who? Tap the side of the ribs. Even though these were the same thoughts that I was around as a kid, and they became part of me too. I'm open to loving and releasing myself. Tap the inside of the wrist. I accept a part of me bought into that. You're welcome, Kata. She says, thank you, Sonya. Always on point in my life. Tap the side of the thumb. I picked this thought up from who? Tap the index finger. I'm open to loving and releasing myself. From whose thought? Well, my mom's thought, actually. Tap the middle finger. I've been living under the thought of what? What thought have you been living under? Blurt it out one more time. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. Why am I having you say this negative thought over and over? Isn't that drilling it in? No, we're actually drilling it out by Googling that information, touching it again and again with empathy, love, and acceptance. We're not attacking ourselves for thinking this thought like you've done in the past. We're actually bringing love to the part of you that keeps believing that, even though it makes you sad and angry and depressed and terrified to keep believing this. Yeah? Tap your little finger. Big, deep breath. This thought. Let's say the thought one more time out loud. Tap the side of the hand. I'm open to loving and accepting myself, even though a part of me deeply believes this. I picked it up from who or where. And I've been living like this for how long? Well, up until today, actually. Tap the top of the head. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Woo! Tell you, this is a doozy for me. I'm open to loving and accepting myself, even though part of me has been living this way and avoiding dealing with this for a long time. Tap your eyebrows. Good. Tap the temples. Even though this issue has resulted in a lot of what? A lot of shame, a lot of fear, a lot of self-judgment. Tap the cheeks. Fill in the blank. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tap into the nose. Part of me feels exhausted. Tap into the lips. I feel exhausted by what this has resulted in. Tap the chest. I accept this exhaustion. Big noisy breath. Tapping the front of the ribs. This exhaustion. Tap the side of the ribs. I'm open to loving and respecting myself, even though part of me feels exhausted by what believing this has done to me. Yeah? Tap the inside of the wrist. I accept this exhaustion. Big breath. Why would we accept the exhaustion? Shouldn't we fight it? Well, if you want to fight it, accept it. Watch what happens. Just tune in to that tired feeling you have about this issue and breathe. Okay, tapping the index finger, this exhaustion. Tap the middle finger. I'm open to loving and supporting myself, even if I feel exhausted about all of this. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I'm open to releasing this tiredness so I can get down to what's underneath it. Tap the little finger and breathe. Tap the side of the hand. What is my body trying to tell me? So tune in to where you feel this issue affecting your body. Is it in your stomach? Is it in your head? Is it in your belly? Is it in your throat? Is it in your thinking? Your head? Tap the top of the head. I love and respect myself, even if a part of me doesn't want to hear what? What is your body trying to tell you that you don't really want to hear right now? Tap the eyebrows. Part of me doesn't want to hear what? Part of me doesn't want to hear. Tap under the nose. I don't want to hear it because why? Mm. Tapping under the lips. I don't want to hear it because tap the chest. It's okay. I love and respect myself, even though part of me thinks it's easier to ignore this message than to do something with it. Holy manolium. I would have to do something with this message if I had listened to it. Tap the front of the ribs. I don't want to listen to this message. Tap the side of the ribs. Because if I did, what would happen? What scary, bad things do you think might happen if you listened to what your body was trying to tell you? Okay? Tap the inside of the wrist. This is going to be a freaky one, you guys, at least for me, so bear with me. I'm processing right along with you. Tap the inside of the wrist. I don't want to listen to what my body's trying to tell me. Tap the side of the thumb. I don't want to lose my old coping devices. I don't want to lose my old identity. Tap the index finger. I don't want to lose what? What are you afraid of losing? Tap the middle finger. I don't want to have what happen? Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I'm afraid of what? What's the fear in this issue for you? And tap your little finger. I'm afraid of, say it again. Tap the side of your hand, say it 3 times. I'm afraid of blank. I'm afraid of blank. I'm afraid of blank. Go. Mm. 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 Big noisy breath. Come on, you can do it. Let's go. Tap the top of your head. I'm afraid of. Tap the sides of your head. I accept this fear of. Just open your heart to it for a second. What will happen? It's already there. The only thing you haven't tried doing is opening your heart to it, right? You've judged it, you pushed it away. What happens if you just open your heart to it? I'm afraid of what? Well, there it is. And tap the eyebrows. I accept this part of me. Tap the temples, even though it's scary. Tap the cheeks. I love and respect myself. Tap into the nose, even though it's hard to because I'm scared. Tap into the lips. I'm giving myself permission to accept this fear as deep as it goes. Ready? This is huge. Big, deep breath. Tuning into how deep that fear goes. And accepting it as you drop down to the chest. Wow, beautiful. You feel that shift? Let's do that again. I accept this as deep as it goes. Big, deep breath. Tuning into how deep it goes. And just accepting however far that slippery slide goes. There it is. Just shining the flashlight of love into that space. It's okay, however big, however old, how slippery, how craggy, how scary it is. We're just having a little look. We don't have to do anything fancy here. Tap the front of the ribs. I love and accept myself even if I judge myself for having this issue. Big deep breath. Just accepting whatever judgment has been typical for you in this area. Tap the side of the ribs. I've typically judged myself to be what? Tap the inside of the wrist. I've typically judged myself to be. Tapping the inside of the wrist and the side of the thumb. I've been judging myself to be what? And index finger. Judging myself to be, say it one more time. Tap the middle finger. I accept the part of me that thinks I have no control. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I accept the part of me that thinks I'm weak. Tap the little finger. I accept the part of me that tells me that I'm what? Too late? Tap the side of the hand. I accept all these frustrated feelings. Tap the top of the head. Part of me is really frustrated inside. I keep telling myself what? Tap the eyebrows. I'm so frustrated. Tap the temples. I've been judging myself for years. Tap the cheeks. I'm open to loving and forgiving myself. Tap into the nose, even with all this self-judgment. And tap under the lips. This self-judgment, what are you saying again to yourself? Tap down to your chest. It's safe for me to drop the judgment for a moment. Tapping the front of the ribs. It's safe for me to drop the judgment for a moment. And side of the ribs. What if I could drop this judgment? Tap the inside of the wrist. I love and forgive myself. And I'm releasing the need to attack myself about this. Big deep breath. Releasing the need to attack myself about this. And tap the side of the thumb. It's safe for me to clear this. No matter how long this has been affecting me. Tap your index finger. So tuning into your issue, we're about to have our first check-in. So if we just pause here for a second, how intense would you say your issue is? From 0 to 10. Put that in the chat window if you can. Tell me what it was at the beginning, where it is now. For some people, the issue may have gone up. For some people, you're like, whoo, I'm spacing out. Caitlin is like, I'm so tired and numbing out. This is a big issue. Actually, tired and numbing out means that your subconscious is flailing, because if you shift this, it's going to make a huge change in your life. And it's going like, stay the same, stay the same. So that's actually a good sign if you're feeling triggered, like you want to run away, or you're tired, or you're checking out. Let's see what we've got here. So everybody on replay or who isn't chatting, please tap and breathe, just tuning into what's still here for you, what number you would give it, in other words. Erin's gone up. That's typical for her. She's gone up 1 point. Brave Legend has gone down a point from a 9 to an 8. Ian's dropped from a 9 to a 7. Mateo a 9 to a 7. Anne an 8 from a 6. Or at 8 to a 6. Rob an 8 to a 5. You're processing very quickly, Rob. Mateo a 7 to a 5. Lori Jean 6 peaked up to an 8, back down to a 6. Shelley 8, 7. Christina a 10 down to a 6, back up to a 9. Headache was almost gone, then it hit on something and it came back almost fully. So Christina, you can see how much this is energetic, right? So whatever we hit on, say that while I'm tapping and see what happens to your headache. Hannah, 7 to a 4, spacing out a little bit. Amber Jane, numbing out, tired. Princess, an 8, but gaining more clarity, very blocked. Elle, a 7, lots of numbness and self-distraction. This is huge, isn't it? Rhea, 8 to a 9. Jeremy, a 9 to a 7. Joanna, numb, avoidant. Defunk, 8 to a 10. Massive issue, will never be the same. Wow, you guys. Caitlin, a 0 to an 8. Maybe that was supposed to be a 10. Amy, a 10 to an 8. Tatiana, a 9 to a 5. Chelsea Reed, an 8. Laura, a 10 to a 7. A doozy, she says. Christina Reed, 9 to a 7. I don't know how to give, receive, or trust in my own love without withholding to teach a lesson and improve. It sounds like that was used on you. 10 to an 8, says Caitlin. Yes. Carol, 8 to a 6. Jeff, a 10 to a 6, feeling buzzy and cracked out. Caitlin, coming back. Okay. Lisa, not sure of the number really. She says it's an 8. Celestine says down to a 6, blowing us kisses. All right, massaging the front of the chest. Here we go. Even though this is a massive issue for me. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tap the eyebrows. This massive issue. Tap the temples. Let's say again what the issue is. What is it? Tap your cheeks. And how does this affect your ability to do what? This affects my ability to feel confident. This affects my ability to open up sexually. This affects my ability to what? Tap under the nose. This affects my ability to tap under the lips. This is affecting my ability to do what? Tap under the lips. Part of me is trying to protect myself from moving forward by holding on to this and wanting to avoid dealing with it. Tap the front of the ribs. Oh, I'm holding on to it. Because if I hold on to it, I don't have to do what? Tap the side of the ribs. If I hold on to this, I get out of doing what? Tap the inside of the wrist. Holding on to this allows me to what? Tap the side of the thumb. Holding on to this allows me to do what? Tap the index finger and breathe. Is it really true that holding on to this is keeping me from experiencing tap the middle finger? No, that is not true, right? I know in my life, holding on to this is not keeping me from experiencing this thing that I don't want to experience. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I love and accept myself. Even though part of me wants to play small, hold back, hide, and feel unworthy, tap the little finger. I'm open to loving and forgiving myself. Tap the side of the hand. Part of me is trying to limit my own power. Tap the top of the head. Part of me is trying to limit my own power. Tap the sides of the head. I'm limiting my power by doing what? Tap the eyebrows. I started doing this how long ago? Whoa. Okay, tap the cheeks. I started doing this. Just reach back for that memory. It's okay if you don't have a full answer. Just reach back. Even if I started doing this when I was how old? I'm open to loving and forgiving myself. Okay, tap the chest. I'm open to loving and forgiving myself, even if I started doing this when I was how old? Tap the front of the ribs. Think about who in your family was doing something similar. Let's look at that again. I picked this behavior up from who, possibly? Tap the side of the ribs. I picked this behavior up from who? Oh, tap the inside of the wrist. They couldn't break through. So part of me thinks I can't break through. Tap the side of the thumb. They couldn't resolve this. So part of me thinks I can't resolve this. Tap the index finger. I'm releasing the stuck feeling that started when I saw them not be able to resolve this. Right? Big deep breath. Okay, tap the middle finger. Even though, who couldn't resolve this? I'm open to loving and accepting myself anyway. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I accept that they couldn't resolve this. Big, deep breath. Send a huge wave of compassion to the struggle that you witnessed as you were growing up that may have left you with a very similar pattern that you're now trying to resolve, having watched someone attempt and fail or not even wake up enough to try. Tap the little finger. I love and forgive myself. Tap the side of the hand. Even if it's hard to forgive myself, I'm open to the possibility of accepting myself as I am. Tap the top of the head. Even at this age, at this weight, with this body. Sides of the head, back of the head, even at this age, at this weight, with this body. Tap the eyebrows. I'm giving myself permission to accept myself as I am. Tap the cheeks, even if part of me is pressuring myself to change by withholding acceptance. And tapping under the nose. And let me just explain that for a second as you tap under the lips and listen. So a lot of us think that we'll get ourselves to change and motivate ourselves by dangling love out in front of us and be like, oh, I'll love you when, I'll love you if. You'll get a reward when you get to here. But until then, I'll just abuse you or withhold love from you. And what happens when you withhold love from a child, for example? Do they do better? Usually not. They usually decline. But if you give them love and encouragement and support and guidance, and you tell them you believe in them and you help them, they actually meet those goals. And the same thing happens to you, or to me in this case. So how can I love myself? Repeat after me. How can I love myself through this? Tap the front of the ribs. How can I love myself even if I never attain this goal? Tap the side of the ribs. Can I love myself even if I'm still working with it? Tap the inside of the wrist. Can I love myself as I learn and grow? Tap the side of the thumb. Can I love myself even though I've been conditioned to withhold love until I meet my goal? Tap the index finger. I love and forgive myself even if I've been withholding love in order to motivate myself to do better. Tap the middle finger. What if I could accept myself as I am today? Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. What if I could love myself as I am today? And then the panic comes up like, well, if I love myself as I am today, maybe I would not change, right? Is it really true? I notice that when I feel love and secure, I actually feel like change is easier. Okay, tap the little finger. I'm taking myself out of this fear mode. Big breath. What if I could love myself exactly as I am, in this embodiment, at this level, for 30 seconds? Tap the top of the head. I'm accepting where I'm at for 30 seconds. Wow, let's do it. Big breath. That means right where you are today, with this feeling, with this issue. There we go. Keep doing it. Sides of the head, back of the head. Just keep doing it, accepting here I am. No need to judge it, not trying to change it, just being right here with what I'm experiencing. Tap the cheeks. I accept this uncomfortable place. Tap into the nose. I'm not used to accepting myself here. Tap under the lips. I am so not used to accepting myself here. Tap the chest. I accept that I'm not used to accepting myself here. Tap the front of the ribs. I forgive myself for withholding acceptance for so long. I tap the side of the ribs, and I'm giving myself permission to accept where I'm at for 30 more seconds. Big breath. Tap the inside of the wrist. I accept where I'm at. Tap the side of the thumb for 30 more seconds. Okay, do it. Big soft breaths without trying to change anything. Beautiful. Tap your index finger. Notice how your issue feels now. Let's put that in the chat window. What it was at the beginning, where it is now. When you're done chatting, you're tapping on any of these points and just accepting where you are now. I don't know about you, but I feel softer and more encouraged and like things are opening up. It doesn't feel as overwhelming. I feel more things are doable. Ria's down to a 6 from an 8. Mateo's down to a 4 from a 9. Shelly's down to a 6 from an 8. Brave Legend down 2 points. That's great. Ian 9 to a 6. Beautiful. Teresa a 10, 9 down to a 4. Princess down to a 6. Definitely have more clarity. 8 to a 4. Lori Jean and 6 to a 4, which was formerly an 8. Feels softer, gentler, says Shelley. L down to a 6, feeling numb around this issue. Congestion is clearing. That's interesting. Jeremy down to a 5 from a 7. Christina down to a 6.5 from a 10. Surya down to a 5 from an 8, realizing how much I've not accepted where I'm at. Lisa 8 to a 4. Yes, soft. Chelsea down to a 6 from an 8. Amy a 10 to a 4. Massaging the front of the chest. Even though part of me still feels what? What's still there for you that's really present that we haven't acknowledged? This is the part where you get to say what's still really present for you. Big deep breath. And tap the eyebrows. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tap the temples, even though a part of me still feels what? Tap the cheeks. Say those things that you're still feeling. I feel what? Brave says resistant and resentful. So say I feel resistant and resentful. And just accept whatever it is that you're saying. Don't fight with that resistance. Just accept that I'm resistant and resentful, for example. Tap under the nose and breathe. Tapping under the lips. I'm giving myself permission to accept that I still have what? Tap the chest. A part of me is still withholding some love here because why? I'm telling myself I should have what? Tap the front of the ribs. I'm telling myself, what? What are you telling yourself? You should have done something. You shouldn't have done something. I forgive myself and everyone involved in this thought, including who? Tap the inside of the wrist. Who might be involved in this thought? Is it a friend, a parent, a school teacher, a sibling? Tap the seven, tap the side of your thumb. Stay with me right now. Stop chatting for a minute and start tapping, okay? We're not trying to resolve this with our minds through analysis or even arguing ourselves out of patterns. That doesn't work. You can know better and still be affected by it. Tap the index finger. So what we're doing is we're hanging out with where we're affected with love and acceptance and watching what happens. Tap the middle finger. I love and forgive myself, even if part of me stays stuck because I think I should or should have what? Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I'm releasing any shame or blame I've placed on myself or others have placed on me about, say what it is about. Tap the little finger. Shame and blame about. Tap the side of the hand. I love and forgive myself, even if a part of me feels what? Tap the top of the head. I'm releasing this for myself and everyone involved, including who? Tap the eyebrows. It's safe for me to come back into my body. Tap the temples, even if there's a lot of fear or pain or sadness here. Good. Tap the cheeks. I accept the part of me that still feels reluctant. Tap under the nose. I don't have to do this all in one session. Tap under the lips. But I'm off to a good start. Tap the chest. I accept that a part of me wants to hold on to feelings of what? What are two feelings that still feel really present for you? Is it anger? Is it fear? Tap the front of the ribs. I accept that part of me still wants to hold on to these feelings of, say them again. Tap the side of the ribs and breathe. Okay, inside of the wrist. Even if it doesn't feel safe to let it all go today, because if I did, what might happen? Tap the side of the thumb, and that might result in what? Tap the index finger. I'm open to loving and accepting myself through this fear. Big breath. Middle finger. I'm open to loving and accepting myself through this fear. Bottom of the fourth finger. This remaining fear of what? Tap the little finger. I got room for that. Open your heart to this part of yourself. I got room for this. Tap the side of the hand. I got room for this fear. It's been with me. I got room for it. Tap the top of the head. Opening your heart again to that part of you that feels scared or needs to move slowly. Tap the eyebrows. I accept this part of me. Tap the temples. That secretly just wants what? What does this part of you really need and want that it's having a hard time getting? Tap the cheeks. This part of me just wants love. Tap into the nose. This part of me just wants to know it's okay. Tap into the lips. This part of me is really just afraid of being in my power. Tap the chest. This part of me is afraid of this beautiful essence that I'm here to share. Tap the front of the ribs. I love and respect myself, even if I have to just inch along here. Tap the side of the ribs. I'm releasing the frustration about inching along. Tap the inside of the wrist. I'm allowing this to be a softer, gentler experience. Tap the side of the thumb. I'm allowing this to be a softer, gentler experience. Big, soft breath. Tap the index finger. I love and respect myself, even if I have to gently inch along. Tap the middle finger. It's okay. I'm going at my own pace. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. Making intelligent choices for the right reasons. Whoa, what would that be like in this area? Intelligent choices for the right reasons. Tap the little finger. I don't have to react from my fear and pain anymore. Tap the side of the hand. I don't have to react to my old conditioning. Tap the top of the head. I'm giving myself freedom and space to make new choices and to feel good about those new choices. I'm allowing myself to gently increase my tolerance for being in my power. Really? You can do that? Oh yeah. Eyebrows. Gently increasing my tolerance for being more in my power. Tap the temples. I'm integrating the feeling of being more in my power and more in my body. Tap the cheeks. I accept the part of me that's embodied. Tap into the nose. Right now I have a body. Tap into the lips. This is a temporary condition, right? Tap the chest. What would it be like to accept my embodiment? 100%. Whoa. Tap the front of the ribs. What would it be like to just accept it 5% more? Tap the side of the ribs. I could accept myself 5% more, embodied as I am. That feel doable for today? Could we just bump it up to 5% more? Tap the inside of the wrist. I'm allowing myself to feel safe and secure, 5% more embodied than I was. Tap the side of the thumb. If 5% seems easy to you, bump it up to 10. Or whatever is your threshold. Maybe it's 30% and you're like, whoo, 30, 31 feels like too much, but 30, okay. You want to do just at your growth edge and maybe one toenail over it, but not like a whole foot over it. Big breath. Allowing myself to feel safe in this body. How much more? What percentage are you going to say? Fill in the blank there. Big soft breath, relaxing your body towards that sensation of being that much more embodied. Right? Tap the middle finger. I'm giving my permission to my own spirit to inhabit and embody my body this much more. Bam. Tap the bottom of your fourth finger. It's safe and natural for me to do this, and I have every right to do this. Tap the little finger. I'm giving myself permission to heal where I've been hurting, heal where I've been judging, to bring peace and embodiment all the way through eventually. Okay, tap the side of the hand. I have plenty of time to do this. Tap the top of the head, and I'm aware that I still need to tap on what? What's still there that you're like secretly aware of that you're not really going to get to in this session? Tap the sides of the head. This piece that I'm probably not going to get to today. Say it again. Tap the eyebrows. This piece that I'm probably not going to get to is what? Tap the cheeks. This remaining piece that I don't have time to deal with today. This remaining piece that I'm not going to get to today. Tap under the lips. I don't want to open up that piece. Tap the chest. It's way too big. Tap the front of the ribs. I'm going to save that for later. Tap the side of the ribs. Part of me is going to save that one for later. Tap the inside of the wrist. This remaining piece, say what it is that we know we're not going to get to it, but just blurt it out anyway. Tap the side of the thumb. I love and accept myself even though I have this remaining piece that I don't have time for. Big noisy breaths. Tap the index finger. I accept the part of me that does not want to circle back around and deal with it later. Oh no. Tap the middle finger. My secret plan is to avoid this remaining piece indefinitely. Oh yeah. I know your plan. Tap the bottom of your fourth finger. This remaining piece that I don't want to deal with later is, name it, say what it is. It's happening, y'all. Can you feel it? I can feel it. I feel it. I feel it. Tap the little finger. You're doing it. You snuck up on yourself, didn't you? This remaining piece. Tap the side of the hand. I accept this remaining piece that I don't have time to deal with today. Big soft breath. Notice what's happening as we address this. Tap the top of the head. Giving myself permission to integrate this new level of power. Tap the eyebrows. I'm allowing the possibility of it being easier than I imagined to completely deal with this issue. Tap the cheeks. What if it's easier than I thought? Tap into the nose. What if it's more fun than I thought? Tapping under the lips. I have my own permission to make this a little more fun and a lot easier than I was making it. Because who's in charge of that? Yeah. Tap the chest. I'm giving myself a new attitude. An attitude of what? What attitude would be the most beneficial to you? Is it gentleness and persistence? Is it strength and perseverance? Is it just a little tiny baby steps, like micromillimeters? What's the right attitude for you in this area? All of those are great success strategies. Tap the front of the ribs. My new strategy is to be wet with myself. Well, beautiful. Tap the inside of the wrist. I'm allowing myself to enjoy being in my body. Tap the side of the thumb. I'm allowing myself to enjoy this process of being alive. Just a little bit more. Tap the index finger, maybe a lot more. Just the right amount more. All right, sweet angel pants. How are you feeling now? Wow. Okay, put that in your chat room. Let's see where you were at the beginning, where you are now, and what you're committed to. And how you're feeling. That's a lot of things to answer. But give me some version of that. How are you feeling now? Where is it? What are you committed to? Brave Legend, down 4 points. Grateful for not having to do it all at once. Yeah, easy does it. Kata, down to a 3. I love the fun and easier attitude. Yes, please. Okay, still releasing coughing and burping, says Amber Jane. Great, you guys might want to keep tapping for a few minutes even after this is over. You're on the right track. Oh, thank you, Kata. Angel, a 10 to a 6, committed to addressing my root chakras feelings in other taps, as many as it takes. Boom, girl. That's success. Erin, down to a 3, treating myself like a compassionate boss. I don't have to react to the old programs. Jeremy, down to a 3. Beautiful, Jeremy. Laura, a 10 to a 3. But the leading myself to the next level really uncovered a new insight. Awesome. Self-development right here. Shelley, down to a 5. Sleepy, relaxed, committed to continuing to tap. Awesome choice, Shelley. Defunct, down to a 5 from a 10. Slow burn, feeling more gentle and hopeful. New attitude, courageous, persistent, and gentle. Christina's down to a 5. Headache, still tired, committed to tapping daily. So just accept the pressure that you're feeling, Christina, in your head. Without trying to change it, just accept it. And the tiredness. And see what happens. I can do it, says Teresa, down to a 1 and down to a 2 from an 8. Wow. Feeling peaceful, committed to finishing up the clean up. Carolyn, down to a 3 from an 8. Okay. Hannah, feeling yummy in my body, ready to be more gentle with myself and others. Giving myself more time when I need it before reacting, down to a 2. Holy amazement, says Caitlin. Down to a 4, feeling so open, light, and happy. Down to a 3, Lori Jean, loving patience and persistence. Elle is down to a 4 from a 7. Curious to find out what will happen next time. A lot of weird reactions this time. Congestion, and my face is breaking out. Well, yes, the body is releasing. Surya down to a 4, feeling peaceful and relaxed. Chelsea down to a 4, much more at peace and ease. Down to a 7 for Cash. Gentler, Amy down to a 3. Carolyn says thank you. Tatiana, Ian down to a 4. Arrow down to a 3. Amber Jean down to a 2. You got me laughing and feeling connected to more joy. We'll come back to this one. Good, you guys. Well, thank you so much for your love and your time and attention. Reach out to your friends. Bring them over to your house. Share this process. The more people we have doing this, the happier our world is going to be. We should have been taught how to process our feelings in kindergarten. We're playing catch up. This is the generation that's going to bridge that gap. So reach out to your friends. They're all struggling too. People may not be talking about it, but when they see you bravely doing this wild, weird thing and processing and feeling so good in such a short time, they will also gain the love and the courage they need to face their fears. And you're that delegate. You're the person that's a lighthouse and a pillar. Not that you need to take on their stuff, but just share the process with them. Share your membership with them. Bring them to your house. If you didn't get total clarity and you need more individual attention, Team Love is here at your service. There is a link that Surya is about to put up there. Private sessions are awesome, you guys. They go even deeper than this. So feel free to reach out to any of these practitioners below. They're all listed on the website at that link. Click it now and that window will pop open. Read their bios, reach out. They'll talk to you on the phone for free for half an hour, 20 minutes to see if it's a good fit. It's an awesome resource, and we're so grateful, Team Love, to have you here. Thank you for supporting me, the circle, and all these loving beings. You can turn on your mics. Let's say good night or goodbye, and we'll kiss you all.
Good night, everyone. Bye. Sweet dreams.
Bye, everyone.
Good night, love.
Good night from Austin. Good night.
We love you.
Love you. Thank you.
Mwah.